What is up? Welcome into the LFC Transfer Room. Jack, Chris, Anthony here for a three-man stream. It's a transfer talk. Few players on the cards. Some rumors as we get towards nearing the end of the Euros semi-final time. England, Denmark, Spain, Italy. A few Liverpool players, few Liverpool rumored players in action in the next 2 days. But before we get into anything, my boy Chris, how are you doing?
Good, mate. 3-man, 1 stream, innit?
Yes, sir. Anthony, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Jack.
We're going to kind of just have a relaxed chat here on this Monday afternoon. If you want to talk any rumors, drop them in the comments down below. Your thoughts on any of the links, drop them in the comments down below. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. We want to get
all the comments.
All the comments. We will get every single comment on this stream. That is a challenge that we are willing to accept.
Exactly.
The big one, per David Ornstein this morning, Danny Ings rejecting a contract extension from Southampton. So the 28-year-old has 1 year left on his contract. He used to play at Liverpool. Could make a sensational return. In the comments, let us know if you would take Danny Ings back. And Chris, you are able to voice your opinion on the stream. Danny Ings, back to LFC. Tell me why or why not.
100%. I'd love it to happen if the opportunity arose. 1 year left on his contract at Southampton, therefore he'd be somewhat cheap. He's already the Klopp mold. He works hard. He was tremendously unlucky with injuries. He got injured actually in the same breadth as when Jurgen Klopp actually came into the club. He was the club's most informed player at the time. He just scored against Everton. He scored against Norwich. He scored against I think it might have been Carlisle or something like that. But a player who the fans loved was unlucky with injuries. But yeah, I'd 100% take him back. The only thing is price wise. Whether we can get value enough money for deal for him, but the other man in the thumbnail, Taki Minamino, could provide something of a make weight, which may or may not allow Danny Ings to come back. But it'd be 100% something I get behind.
Yeah, Anthony Ings, are you on the wave? The return for the 28-year-old.
I agree with Chris. He fits our system. He's got the work rate. And he fits a typical Klopp side, but I think, given his injury record as well, I don't think a return will even be an option for us, to be honest. Like Chris said again, Minamino probably the better option for us, just to try him out for another season, then see how it goes. But as much as I love Danny Ings, I just can't see it happening, to be honest.
Jacob says, not time for a project. He prefers Jeremy Doku. Had a great performance in the match against Italy, if I'm not mistaken, for Belgium. Very good youngster, 19 years old. It'd be an interesting transfer. He's been rumored to join Liverpool for several years now. We have a nice, I don't know if this is a cursed blend between Jurgen Klopp and Virgil van Dijk, or if it's beautiful. Ings, as long as we send another attacker.
It's cursed. Anyone can be attracted to anyone in this world, but if anyone's attracted to that, Jack, I'm a little bit worried, mate.
Yeah, I would be as well. Yeah, that's a little scary, if you ask me. And I think the issue is injuries. Can he come back or not? Would he be available? The issue is with Naby Keita. He's not dependent on as a starter, but if he's not fit when we want to turn to him, is he really useful? Do the injuries concern you, Chris?
Oh, of course they do. He was as I said, he was in one of the most informed players in the Premier League when he got injured the first time, and then he got injured the second time after making one appearance, and then came back, made about 10 appearances for us before leaving. We all thought 20 million to get for Danny Ings was a Michael Edwards masterclass.
Yeah. But
he's turned out to be wonderful for Southampton. He's so fully deserving, such a nice bloke. Played for England as well. They would concern me. Because I've got injury PTSD after this season. So yeah, Danny Ings' injuries, slightly worrying, but I wouldn't stop me taking him back, mind.
Yeah, I think the general consensus is Ings back if we sign someone else as well. Anthony, injuries, that a cause for concern for you?
Yeah, definitely. He had his injuries with us last time as well. The thing is with Ings, he's not obviously I don't rate him as much as a Harry Kane, let's say, but he's just there to get goals as well, which is something Firmino doesn't offer, which Ings can. But yeah, just the injury record, which is poor. So that's the only thing holding me back from wanting him to return to us.
Yeah, I mean, he probably wouldn't start ahead of Firmino, and it's a case of if he was to come back, it would be the same spot he was in last time, just a rotational option. So
I don't know, see. I don't know. I think he'd be, well, because of his goal scoring exploits for Southampton, I think he'd be the option off the bench. I mean, you have him, Jota, and Shaqiri, which is a much better back three than a much better backup front three than the one we've got at the moment, which is Origi, Shaqiri, and probably Minamino. Now he's come back.
well, Jota is he not part of the?
Oh,
back?
and Jota, yeah, I suppose Jota, yeah, as well. But you know what I mean.
It's an interesting option. I think the overwhelming rumor that everyone likes to see is Renato Sanches, the Z or the S, whatever. I think he could be a really interesting replacement. Sanchez or Basuma. Chris, if you had the choice, which one are you going for?
I got to back my boy from Brighton. I love Brighton. So Basuma all the time, mate. Nah, Sanchez this season and in the European tournament, once again, he's been incredible. And yeah, he's been a stalwart of Lille and their title win. Got bundles of energy. He's got a goal in him. I don't think he's anything like Wijnaldum in the fact that Wijnaldum's engine is a little bit more than Sanchez. But for me, just because he's from Brighton, I'm going to back Basuma.
Yeah, Anthony, are you with Brian Sanchez all day, or are you back in a Prem lad?
It's 50-50. You know what? Because before the season was going to end, I would have loved Basuma at Liverpool, and I still want him here. But to choose one or the other, I can't say I know much about Renato Sanches in terms of like injury records, because I feel like that's just how I'm going to judge all the transfers now, how their injury records are. But Basuma, we definitely need a Wijnaldum replacement in terms of availability, because obviously the guy was always free. So I feel like Basuma probably be the better option, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean he does have the dodgy pass at Swansea. I don't know anything about lazy or work rate. It's an interesting transfer, and I think that it's always funny, the injury dilemma. It's usually the players, or even if they're fit and they come here, they end up becoming injury prone.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a good point from Dan, that it's definitely very intense training, very intense system. So some bodies just don't hold up. I think Keita and Ings are prime examples of that. So having seen his injury record, Chris, or knowing that he's had a couple injuries, does that concern? Injuries are like the overwhelming decision. There is this.
We're all just scared. We're all just scared, boys.
The hair. It would be not that Genie had a bad cut, but it would be he'd be a very fresh addition to the midfield.
He's just a fresh bloke. Yeah, look, he's certainly evolved since his time at Swansea and his time at Bayern. I think he's more mature now. Whether I'd be willing to pay premium for Renato Sanches is another question. But yeah, they don't injury records don't usually concern me, because they don't usually. I mean, it's injuries are luck for me, and you usually either have good luck or bad luck. And he's had bad luck in the past, especially if they're impact injuries as well. So yeah, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, we've seen in terms of some outgoings as opposed to incomings. Harry Wilson and Grujic as part of a potential swap deal for Otavio. There's a lot of rumors, regardless of a swap deal, that Grujic and Wilson being linked to Porto. Are these kind of guys that you want us to move on, especially Grujic? We've seen Wilson in the Liverpool setup, but Grujic hasn't really had a chance. So could Grujic be the Wijnaldum replacement in a pinch?
No. Completely different player. Completely and utterly different player in the way that he's more of a 6 than a Wijnaldum 8. He's quite slow. I'd say he's got good passing, and he's got a good engine, but he's not quick. I'm not for Marco Grujic. I think the ship has sailed. For Harry Wilson, it's a very interesting one, because the club I'm covering this season, Swansea City, are also interested in him, as well as Porto, even though he had a spell at Cardiff last season. So if he does go to Porto, it'll be interesting in whether he gets any game time. But I think for me, he'd be much better off going again to South Wales in the Championship and playing every week, just for his own development and maybe for his price tag as well.
Yeah, chances of Renato. There's a question coming in here. It's so tough trying to gauge probabilities for Liverpool, because, I mean, I always go back to the case of Fabinho, when we go from, oh, wow, he's linked to Liverpool, and like a couple hours later, He's got his announcement.
So,
So it's so tough trying to gauge the reality of these rumors because even the journalists, like the James Pierces of the world, they really have no clue what's going on because of how tightly lipped things are. But if you had to give it a percent chance, Anthony,
Or if they do know, they're not allowed to say.
yes, that's probably true as well.
depends. Arsenal are after Renato Sanches as well, right? So I'd say
Oh,
obviously we're the
not
most
Arsenal.
likely. We're obviously the most likely club to get him, like most attractive to him. But for game time, though, obviously he'd choose Arsenal because I don't think I think we've already got our starting 11. It's just the signings we make now will just be backup. So Sanchez will be rotating with Thiago and Henderson. But
Yeah.
depends. I mean, you honestly can't put a number on it, like percentage, can you?
So on the other end of the Harry Wilson Gruish things is Otavio. I don't know much about him. Is that something that you boys are interested in, either you, Chris, or Anthony?
26 years old, Brazilian. His numbers aren't great if we're looking at that. I think he's only ever got 10 goal contributions in the season. I think that's the highest he's ever got. It doesn't scream £40 million to me. Just looking on a basis of it, I've never seen him play in my life unless he played for Porto against us. But yeah, it doesn't. For me, if I'm looking cold hard numbers, nah.
Yeah, Anthony, are you a cold hard numbers guy, or are you? I believe in Klopp to transform this guy into the next great Brazilian footballer.
Depends for like which position, obviously, but I can't say I've seen. I haven't even heard of him, to be honest, except for when we're linked with him. Grujic and Wilson. To be honest, I'd love to see them just leave, give us that extra bit of transfer budget. But yeah, can't say I've ever seen him play, to be honest.
Let's chat through some other options. Trying to find. Here's a comment from earlier. Camavinga being linked to Manchester United. Reports are that they're going to put in a 30 million euro bid. That one, Man United being like more on it than us, as reports suggest. Varane, Camavinga, Sancho, is tough. I think that thoughts on Camavinga as a footballer, and then thoughts on him potentially going to the Manchester United.
Oh, boy, he's one of my favourite players in world football, Camavinga. Purely because I got a little personal connection. Went to see Rennes PSG in 2019. Eduardo Camavinga played. I don't really know any Rennes players at that point, but Eduardo Camavinga stood out to me immediately. And I spoke to a fan after the game, and I was like, who do you think guys think is your best player? And he's like, Camavinga, but he's only 16. And I was like, he's what? He's just marked Verratti out of the game. He just completely and utterly nullified him in that game, and Rennes won. But yeah, it's devastating if he goes to Manx.
It's one of those transfers where it's like 30 million euros. How? I don't understand how he's that cheap. I mean, I know he has 1 year left on his contract, but I don't understand why at 30 million euros, maybe even a bit more.
I do think PSG will get him though.
Fingers crossed, man. Yeah, go link up with Genie.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Would you take Eduardo Camavinga?
Well, obviously, I think anyone would, to be honest. But especially for 30 mil, Man United are getting a bargain. But we're not even linked with him, are we? So yeah,
it's a frustrating one. And another one being floated here, John McGinn. So we've talked about this a little bit.
Bravehearts, John McGinn. Let's go. Sorry.
Is that a? Oh man, I'm excited to see John McGinn lace him up for the big LFC, or are you just hiding the pain, Chris?
I love John McGinn, but not like that, man. Nah, he's not right for Liverpool. Petrie, come on, allow me, mate.
Hey, that wasn't terrible. He's done dumber things on this stream before, so
I have absolutely done dumber things than that.
Yeah, I'll let him off for that.
Do you remember the hula hooping days?
Oh yeah, when we were like, "Hey, are we gonna go win a match? I'll hula hoop if we win a match." God, that was a sad time in that live streams.
Petrie, would you take John McGinn at Liverpool? Let us know.
That's a good question.
I don't think McGinn's that bad.
Oh no, he's not bad, right? And he's a good player. I think he'd be a good Klopp player, but he's like 28, isn't he? Or how old is John McGinn?
He's 26, and he's the price that was touted around at the time was 50 million. Not for me.
Okay.
It's quite pricey. And so, two questions now on Nico Williams. So, Connor Bradley, Academy guy, reportedly to replace him if we were going to sell Williams, try and fund some other things. Is Nico Williams in, out, Connor Bradley to replace? Is that something that you guys are interested in seeing there?
I know Chris likes Nico Williams, but I can't say I'm a fan of him. I've never been a fan of him. I'd like to see him leave on loan, just see maybe there is something there, but I haven't seen Connor Bradley play either, to be honest. But I'd like to see him leave on loan, sign a backup, and then just see how Nico does from it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you find a better backup right back in the league than Nico Williams. Personally,
wow. In terms of talent,
in terms of talent, in terms of potential, in terms of potential sell-on price. I agree with Anthony that he needs a loan, right? Because his defending is somewhat suspect at some points. Yeah. But people did get on his back for no reason. I love the kid, and he just needs. So I think Swansea would be a great place for him, or Cardiff in the Championship. You know, have a season there. But I think he's good enough to still play a backup right back role, 100%. It's just because he's not Trent that people judge him so harshly. You're more than welcome to dislike him or just to not like fancy him as much. Yeah. But like I just think just because he's not Trent doesn't mean that he's not good.
Well, look,
but this is how I see it, right? Because Man City have Walker and Cancelo, right? We need two players who are good enough to start. So if Trent is injured 1 week, the match where Nico played, I think it was against Brighton, where he gave away a penalty. He just looked shaky all match. So if we want to keep competing, we need like backups who are good enough to start for us, not just let's send them on loan to Championship teams, see how they do like that. But obviously, I'm open to it.
Nico shits on these lot.
Nah, I'm not.
see Cancelo and Walker.
Cancelo plays left back for them. He plays left back.
He's still right back.
I do back my boy Nico, but Azpilicueta just won a Champions League. Dallo was very good at AC Milan.
Yeah, of course.
Cancelo's quite good as well, but he does start. So, look, it is tough, and we always have the big James Milner. And actually, you know what? This is a good point from Brian. I didn't loop this back in, but Adama Traore, backup right back.
Right back? Oh.
He's talking about midfield.
Backup right back. Ignore his comment. Hey, Adama, he could be interesting.
Don't ignore his comment. He's commented that. It's a big paragraph. Let's look at it.
No. Ignore the text of the comment. Just focus on the name Adama. I'm going to take his point and completely misconstrue it.
Look, he's just not good enough a footballer, really, to play in midfield. Like, he's quick and he's strong, but he's not, like, technically good enough, in my opinion.
Chris, I'm not going to lie. I think you've had some pretty stinky opinions today. I mean...
What do you mean?
Nico Williams is the best backup right back in the league. Like, look, I back your boy, but, like, best in the league?
Yeah, but I'm all about this. I'm not all about that anymore. I've moved on.
Well, we have James Milner. Right, so he could be the backup. So let me put you in a scenario, right? You get an offer of £20 million for Nico Williams with a 20% sell-on clause. That enables you to go sign Renato Sanches.
I think that would be a good, fair enough decision, but that's conceptual. In terms of like, if we could maybe put a buyback clause in Nico Williams is transfer, then maybe I'll be more behind it. But yeah.
Let's talk about the fact that we are a right back factory. We had Kijana Hoover, and we sold him because he had such high potential. He was a better right back, I agree. But I mean, we're not going to be like, hey, Wolves, here's Nico Williams. Please pay a similar price as you would for him. I mean, he was clearly a better player, so he got more money. So, yeah, I'm interested in what we do at right back because that's a very tough spot because Trent is the obvious starter week in, week out. But our system has to change if we don't bring him in. So do we get a player like Trent or do we get maybe a more defensive fullback and get an option in midfield so we can change the system up a bit when Trent doesn't play?
Would a defensive right back fit our system though?
We would change the system for that. So maybe we play a 4-2-3-1. We have more room for Thiago who doesn't have to cover for the fullback. You think about back when Thiago was in the Champions League winning Bayern side. he had Joshua Kimmich at right back. So we didn't have to cover for the right back, and he had much more freedom in the midfield. It's an interesting idea.
I think it all changes when Virgil van Dijk comes back, to be honest.
It does, after
Because
all.
I don't think he will have to cover for the right back when Virgil's there. Like I tell you what, I'm that, and Henderson covers for everyone anywhere.
Yeah.
But Gomez can also be used as a right back. Don't forget as well, as Petrie's just said.
Yeah, I think Gomez Milner as backups is tough because Gomez with the injuries and Milner with you don't want to push Milner too far. You don't want
the age.
You don't want him being your backup right back, backup left back, backup center mid, backup defensive mid. I mean, he could do it all, but not at once, obviously. So I think so. This is interesting. Chamberlain at right back rather than midfield. Chris, you're a big fan of Ox. Are you going to accept this slander from Adam?
I can go at right back. That's fine, but he can also play midfield and on the wing and up front. So I think his best use next season will be at centre forward. When he came on against Burnley this year, and was just ripping it up. He was really good against who else did we beat away from home? Just another team. I think it might have been West Ham. He came on and he was really, really solid up front. I think he's the Firmino backup, boys. If I'm being honest, and I back him to play anywhere. I back him to play anywhere on that field. Central midfield, right back, right wing, centre forward. He can play anywhere. Oxlade-Chamberlain is good enough. I don't understand the slander. He's never been bad. He's never been bad.
In the comments, let us know. Would you take Oxlade-Chamberlain as your false nine? Well, let me know.
Petrie.
No,
Petrie.
He is fit.
brother.
He doesn't start. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Oxlade-Chamberlain is not
fit all season. He wasn't fit all season.
Not as a false nine, though. I don't even think Chamberlain's that good on the wings. His best position is probably midfield. Saw it on his debut season. He was smashing it, obviously until the Roma injury. But Chris, you're waffling about him being in the false nine.
Chris, you're way too much. Okay, look, Chris, I want you to exclude the memory of him turning and firing one past Ederson. Exclude that goal from your entire memory. That is not him every week in, week out. Exclude that.
I think it could be, though. It could be. He's good enough. He's good enough to be a squad player. 100%.
Yeah, we should keep him 100%.
Chris, I mean, we try and be like sensible on this channel. I get that.
I'm being sensible. This is my genuine opinion. Allow me. He is a good enough squad player for Liverpool Football Club. He does not need to leave or anything like that. He can play in all four of those positions.
I will agree with the first part of that. He's a good enough squad player here. Can he play everywhere? I mean, when I see Oxlade-Chamberlain in a forward position, I get upset. And you know what, Petrie, you're right. He can score goals from midfield, but that doesn't mean you stick him up front. Like, just do what he's good at, which is in the midfield.
Yes! Chuckles doing it for the boys.
You cannot ignore every comment asking you what you're on, what drugs you're on, and then pick out one supportive comment.
Can we just say that I did support Wales in the Euros, by the way?
Chris is there's a tiny bit of waffle. Yeah. Tiny bit. Tiny.
Well, listen, waffles are great, and especially with a bit of sauce. So,
look, let's. You know what? I'm Keita's biggest guy. You know what? I am Keita fan number one, but I can't dispute this. Like, fundamentally, could he be good enough to be a forward? I don't know. But you know what he's good enough to be? He's good enough to show up on the field at least a couple times a year. Versus Keita, like, my boy, I give you so much love, and you repay me with potato legs. Like, what are you doing, my guy?
It's horrible, man. I love Keita as well, but this guy's never fit, is he?
I agree with this. I think Minamino could be a good false nine. He just needs to up his physicality.
He's not strong enough.
Yeah, he's not strong.
I love Taki, but he's just not strong enough. He needs to get in the gym, man.
That's Bobby's biggest. It's Bobby's biggest. I think like most underrated aspect about him is how good he is in those half spaces, getting the ball and turning. He's so strong. He's so just good in that area. So I think Danny. I started comments Danny. I think Roberto Firmino is the toughest player for us to replace, besides maybe Virgil and Trent. I think Firmino is the toughest to replace.
Besides, pretty much, they're all so tough to replace because they all fit so well, because they've all been bought so well for the specific system, and they're all great people as well. So this
is tough for me because is Ings better for our system than Taki is, even with his lack of physicality? I don't know.
Yeah, yes for me.
Could he play?
Yeah, 100%. Ings' work rate is second to none in the Premier League. Southampton play such a high press, probably more hectic than we do. So I'd 100% say yes. And he scored goals in a team which didn't score goals before he came. So, sure.
That is true. That is true. There's a lot of interesting options, you know. I don't know if I call it dead weight, but it's like a lot of like 50-50 choices, you know.
Maybes.
Like Origi.
Yeah.
No, he's not. Origi's not a maybe.
Look, I'm probably like coming from Kalen from earlier. He is a cult hero. And, you know, I'm going to love the guy. And it does hurt when he tries to shoot a football. He's bad at it. But
He's not.
What's our response to this question, boys? No.
It's a no from me.
No. You have the best right back in the world. Don't put him in midfield. Make him the best right back in the world. Plus, Williams as our starting right back with Trent in the midfield just makes me scared. I feel bad things. I would prefer to play a 3-4-3.
Don't slander my boy. Don't touch Nico. Don't disrespect Nico Williams like that, man.
Look,
but
I think this is a good point from Rizla right here. I think Malen is a very interesting option. I think he's a cheap price point, £17. He's young, so I think he fits the age bracket.
But he's also just about to go to Dortmund.
Yeah, Dortmund.
I know.
That's like me going, Jadon Sancho would be great for us, boys.
Jadon Sancho would be great for us, wouldn't he?
I've just been replying to comments on our Jadon Sancho video. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Of Man United fans laughing at us. So.
Oh, God, no. Change the title of that video to Jadon Sancho is not coming to Liverpool. Sad face.
Nah, man.
Gone wrong.
No, you gotta leave it.
Or you just add gone wrong to the end of YouTube. That's always sad. You know?
Shall I do it? I reckon I should.
Go on. God.
Oh, I love this one. I love Petrie's latest comment. Look at that.
Yeah.
Are we all behind retiring his number when he leaves as well?
Hey, 8 and then retire the 8 when he leaves.
Now, retire his number before he's even come.
Look, I just want to remark real quick. Jordan Henderson must be the most likable guy in the world. If you like, every player in England loves him. Jack Grealish loves him. Jadon Sancho loves him. Jude Bellingham's always taking pictures with him. Like, everyone loves Jordan Henderson. He is like agent number one. He could get us any English player that we want, but our owners. Look, I understand that you don't want to put in money into the club, but it's just sad.
I saw a really, really good tweet about FSG earlier. And I'm going to try and find it because I was going to retweet it, but I didn't. But it was like FSG are overly sensible owners in a overly unsensible market. Which means that you know because that's how we're missing out. The way that they're running the club is the right way to run a club. Like, it needs to be self-sufficient. But the market, the transfer market, is so volatile. It's such a loss-making market that they may get left behind.
Well, look, let's looking at last summer. Tsimikas wasn't linked, then we signed him. Jota wasn't linked, then we signed him. Thiago, there was constant rumors we weren't going to sign him, then we signed him. So for me, I know that we're a Liverpool transfer rumor news outlet. But I try and ignore transfer rumors in terms of the actual possibility of them happening. I just look at them as, would this work or not? Yes or no? And then move on with my life until something actually happens. And look, yeah. Is it? I don't know if I agree with this. You can't do that in modern football.
Well, I
don't know if I agree with that.
We have done it for the last 5 years.
We won a Champions League with this. Say it's Klopp's doing if you want, but
the thing is, everyone says that, right? But obviously, Man City had that extraordinary season. But the season we won the Premier League, we should have gone through in the Champions League. But we don't have that extra bit of quality, like, to come off the bench.
No, that was all Adrian being himself.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to be spending money in them areas as well, which we haven't been doing. But people get satisfied with one trophy a season, which isn't good enough, given we've got one of the best teams in Premier League history.
Yeah. I mean,
if we did win one trophy a season, I'd be pretty satisfied.
It's not the end of the world, but
yes,
for given our quality in our team, we shouldn't be getting knocked out by that Real Madrid side and
Yes.
Atletico Madrid, basically.
Yes.
What is this?
Oh, Nick,
Violated.
so we're having like a relaxed discussion, and then Nick from the absolute top row ends Chris's career. The ignorance.
Why?
Anthony,
When you've got
Anthony, no, Chris, you're being too arrogant. Anthony,
Exactly.
let's lead like a class for the LFC Transfer and YouTube guys about how to have decorum and to not mess with your hair.
I'm just gonna sit down and cry now, boys. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Let's our classic Coutinho comes up every video. Coutinho to Liverpool. Is that something that you think could happen or should happen?
I'll take him, but it's never.
Chris, move on from the cyberbullying. Tell me about Coutinho. Coutinho,
No.
Chris.
Nah, I wouldn't take him back. Never go back to an ex.
Anthony.
Fair enough. When is the last time we've like re-signed a player? Does anyone know? Or
I think it might have been Robbie Fowler, which is
I think
in
that's
2006.
the answer.
I'm pretty sure.
No way it was that long ago.
Whenever we get like linked with former players, they're just never going to happen. Basically,
Look, okay,
like it was Suarez a couple of months ago.
Suarez, that's the one I could see. I'm not gonna lie, I could see that. Maybe next season. And look, here's my issue with the like hating FSG for lack of spending. We make fun of Manchester City and Chelsea for being clubs built upon spending beyond their means. How can we then turn and say, why don't you spend beyond your means?
But we've earned like so much money. Like when we won the Champions League, I think we got 100+ million from that campaign or something, and we bought. Who did we buy? Van den Berg and Adrian.
Like, look. In FSG
And Harvey Elliott.
and Harvey.
And here's Chelsea. They just won a Champions League, and now they're signing Haaland and like
Different.
They've not signed him yet.
Yeah.
They're most likely going to sign Haaland. They're after the big names basically, whereas we were satisfied with Adrian.
I disagree. We gave new contracts to a lot of different players. Fabinho, Van Dijk, Alisson, at least Salah got one. We kept the squad together with new contracts. That's where we spent on like 20-30% increase in the wage budget. That's a significant amount of money. It's not a flashy new toy in the terms of in the like version of Thiago or Jota. But I mean, and you know what? I don't like the narrative that after we won the Champions League, we should have spent. We won the Premier League next year. We clearly didn't. We had a squad capable of competing. We just fell short in the Champions League. That happens.
And that's like you can't be expected. Like you can't have a team there that you can say that will win a Champions League or that will win the Premier League because there's so many factors that come along with it.
Yeah. I agree with this from Petrie. We're going to spend some money. We're going to sign a midfielder and probably back and forward. It may not be flashy. It may take another month for it to happen. But you know what? I've just
seen this, by the way. I've just seen this. But fair enough, Brian. Fair enough. All right, that
was pretty good. That was a pretty good contract. Look, was it unwise to extend Origi? After the Champions League final, was he incapable of performing for us? I don't look.
Hindsight's 2020.
Hindsight is 2020. I think that Origi still has it in him. Will he perform for us? No, definitely not. I don't think he'll perform for us, but I think he has it in him. So keeping him was a tough. Like it was the right decision because he had been playing well for us as a backup option. He was happy to be there. But at the end of the day, sometimes you make mistakes. Maybe keeping Origi was a mistake, or maybe it won't be a mistake next year. I don't know. Is Konate good? Is Konate good enough? 100% in my eyes. He's got potential. He's fast.
From what I've seen,
I haven't seen him much.
I think
if he can recover from is it a hip injury or a knee injury? I think it was a hip injury that he had at Leipzig that just kind of lingered with him for a while. I think he's going to be a good signing. I'm excited. I think Konate is the perfect example. Yeah, this is great from Preachy, by the way, and Origi. But I think Konate will be a very, very good signing for us. And it was a sensible sign. Also, I think to keep in mind, we paid a release clause for Konate. So we paid 30 odd million pounds up front.
Aren't we the only team in the top 6 to officially make a signing?
Sancho for Man United is not official.
That's not official yet?
But they've announced that they've made an agreement.
Ah, boys, we need to make a move. Come on.
And Tom Heaton.
Yeah,
To be fair.
Look,
oh God.
let's be honest with ourselves. Manchester United, everyone can worry about Varane and Sancho and
Cameron. Our team's still better anyway. I think we only need 2 more transfers or 3, to be honest.
And Anthony, tell me, my good friend, who is the manager of Manchester United Football Club?
Cheers, Nick.
While he's at the wheel, that's he's the manager.
I can do my hair now, boys. Sorry.
Yes. Always at the wheel. No reason to worry about Manchester United. No reason to worry about Manchester United. And you know what? This could be. You know what? I'm going to say it like this. I am not concerned in the slightest about Manchester United because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is their manager. They will not win a trophy of major significance under him. Who cares?
Clip.
36 minutes into the
You set yourself up there, man.
I think there's no reason to worry about what Manchester United are doing because we have a better side. So I think it's this is actually a good point from the Cop Talk. Sounding guess. That's gonna be good.
Yeah.
40 million euros is the reported fee.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
To be honest, I haven't seen him play often anyway.
The thing is of his age as well. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go, boys, because I've got Pizza Express. So
I'll wrap up this room.
I tell you what, bring up Black Hammer. Black Hammer allows me to stroke my hair. So
yes.
Ciao and goodbye. Thank you very much for interacting.
Yes.
And
I'll wrap up the stream, Chris. You can bounce out if you need to get your pizza. But thank you everyone for engaging with the stream. We're gonna have more of these in the next few weeks. And going to be able to chat through a lot of different transfers. So for myself, Jack, for Chris, for Anthony, go subscribe to the LFC Transfer Room. Got some exciting content coming up there in the next few weeks. But that's going to do it for our stream here today. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one later this week.